You carry scars you don't even see, not the ones on your skin, the ones carved inside you, the ones you've hidden so long you almost forgot how they got there. But scars never forget. They whisper, they remind, they shape the way you walk through the world. Have you ever wondered, when was the very first scar? Not mine, but the first scar in human history. Imagine a child, hundreds of thousands of years ago, running barefoot across the savannah, a misstep, a sharp stone, a sudden cut. Blood drips onto the earth. The tribe gathers. This small wound, insignificant to us, was life-changing to them. Because in that moment, pain introduced itself to memory, and memory introduced itself to survival. The scar that followed was more than skin deep. It was a teacher, a reminder. Don't step there again. That first scar may have saved the child's life, but it also did something more dangerous. It etched fear into the human mind. Think about your own scars. Don't they tell stories of mistakes, of lessons, of battles survived? We like to think scars are just accidents of flesh. But what if they are something else? What if they are history books written directly on our bodies? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every scar you carry is both protection and prison. Protection, because it reminds you where not to go. Prison, because it convinces you that all paths are dangerous. How many times have you avoided something? Not because it would hurt you now, but because it hurt you once before? That's your scar speaking. That's the tribe inside your nervous system whispering, stay safe, stay small. But here's where the story deepens. Scars didn't just shape individuals, they shaped entire civilizations. Anthropologists studying prehistoric skeletons found evidence of broken bones healed, deep cuts scarred over. That means something remarkable. People cared for each other. Someone fed the injured. Someone protected them until they healed. Without scars, we might never have learned compassion. Without scars, the tribe might not exist. Yet scars also gave birth to suspicion. The memory of wounds carried forward. One betrayal, one ambush, one loss. And suddenly an entire tribe distrusts outsiders for generations. Do you see it now? Scars are never just personal, they ripple outward. They teach entire groups how to live or how to hide. And if you zoom forward from those first hunter-gatherer tribes to our own lives, the pattern hasn't changed. The scar of one failed relationship makes you build walls around your heart. The scar of one rejection keeps you silent in the meeting room. The scar of one childhood humiliation keeps you laughing at jokes you don't actually find funny. You may think you've moved on, but your scar remembers. And it doesn't just remember, it warns. But here's the paradox. The scar wants to keep you alive, and yet it can also keep you from living. What would your life look like if your scars had no voice? If every fear rooted in the past suddenly vanished? Would you chase the dream you keep delaying? Would you love with your whole heart, not the guarded half? Would you step into the unknown without flinching? Or would the absence of scars make you reckless? Would you repeat every mistake that once broke you? It's a haunting question, because scars are both gift and curse. The prehistoric child who first felt pain, who first carried a scar, changed the story of humanity. That scar was a line in the sand, before and after. Before, humans lived only in instinct. After, humans lived with memory. Memory was survival. Memory was progress. Memory was the root of culture itself. But memory was also the beginning of fear. Think about this. Fire burned us, but it also cooked our food. Storms terrified us, but they also taught us to build shelter. Scars warned us, but they also trapped us. And so the real question becomes, are you living guided by scars or ruled by them? The second half of this story, it's about how scars became myths, how wounds turned into rituals, and why every civilization, from the cave painters to modern surgeons, still carries the obsession with marking the body. But more than that, It's about how you can rewrite the scar's story inside your own mind. Scars are more than tissue. They are symbols, marks of survival, proof that you endured. Ancient cultures understood this in ways we've forgotten. To them, scars were not shameful. They were sacred. In some tribes, young warriors were deliberately scarred, cuts burned into the skin as initiation. Why? Because the scar said, I belong. I have suffered. I am one of you. The wound was the price of identity. The scar was the receipt of loyalty. Even today, echoes remain. We tattoo ourselves. We pierce. We mark the skin. Somewhere deep down, we are still telling the same story. Pain binds. Scars unite. But here's the darker side. Not all scars are chosen. Some are forced upon us. The betrayal we never expected. The loss we never prepared for. The humiliation we never asked for. And unlike tribal initiations, these scars don't always bind us closer. Sometimes they isolate us. They whisper, you're weak, you're broken, you're unworthy. But is that true? Or is that just another story the scar tells? Pause for a moment. Think of the scar you carry, the one that shaped you the most, not the one on your knee or your hand, the one inside. What story does it whisper? And who gave it that voice? Your tribe, your parents, your enemies, or you? Because here's the twist. Scars don't come with meaning. We give them meaning. The first humans feared the cut, then they feared the predator, then they feared each other. And fear was useful until it wasn't. The danger for us today isn't the predator in the dark. It's the outdated warning system still running in our minds. Our scars are ancient software installed in a world that no longer exists. That's why you avoid the stage when you should be speaking. That's why you stay in relationships long past their expiration date. That's why you never send the application, even when the job is perfect. Your scar is whispering, stay small. Don't risk. Remember what happened last time. And maybe it saved you once, but now it holds you hostage. So how do we live with scars without being ruled by them? The answer is hidden in history again. Because for every culture that feared scars, there were others who revered them. For every wound that caused shame, another became a badge of honor. The key isn't to erase scars, it's to rewrite the story they tell. Consider this, a scar is proof that you healed. It's not the wound, it's the closure. It's the body saying, yes, you broke, but you rebuilt. What if you looked at your emotional scars the same way? Instead of reminders of failure, they become reminders of resilience. Instead of anchors, they become wings. Instead of prisons, they become maps. Maps of where you've been. Maps of what you've endured. Maps that point not just to pain, but to survival. And here's where it gets even deeper. When you share your scars, something powerful happens. Someone else sees themselves in your story. Your scar becomes their permission to heal. Think about that. The very thing you hide out of shame could be the thing that sets someone else free. That's why the first scar matters. Not just the prehistoric cut in the savannah, but the first scar you carried that taught you who you are. It might have lied to you. It might have told you that you're fragile. But the truth was always the opposite. The scar is evidence that you're stronger than you thought. Scars aren't signs of weakness, they're signatures of strength. The world is full of people hiding theirs, covering up, pretending, smiling. But deep down, we all carry them. Every one of us is a walking library of scars. So the question isn't whether you have scars. The question is whether you'll let them keep writing your story or whether you'll pick up the pen yourself. The first scar wasn't just an accident of flesh. It was the invention of memory, the invention of story, the invention of meaning. And now you're the storyteller. You get to choose. Will your scars shrink you? Or will they shape you into someone unbreakable? Because the truth is this, the scar doesn't define you. How you carry it does. So here's the invitation. Look at your scars, the ones you've hidden, the ones you've carried in silence, and ask, what story do I want this scar to tell? Because scars can whisper fear, but they can also shout courage. And if you choose the second story, your scars become your greatest weapon. Not a weakness to hide, but a strength to wield. That's the secret written into the first scar. The one that changed everything. The one that still shapes you. It's not about avoiding pain, it's about transforming it. The scar proves you can. And maybe, just maybe, your scars are not the end of your story. They are the beginning. If this spoke to you, stay with me. Because in the next video, we're diving into how words, the invisible scars, cut deeper than any wound. It's called the weapon in your hand. Until then, carry your scars with pride, not as chains, but as proof. Proof that you survived. Proof that you healed. Proof that you're still here. Because the scar doesn't mean you're broken, it means you're alive.